What's up, guys? MrNoobTubeGamer back with another video. I figured I'd do a face video because it's been a while since I've done a face video and not a commentary. And I've also changed my look a little bit since the last time I showed my face on here. So I thought that, you guys got an idea of what I look like now. You can see that the hair is a little different. Just a little different, right? But I want to talk about physical versus digital, because that's a very important topic right now. I've kind of touched upon it a little bit throughout my YouTube career, whether seriously or not seriously, but this is a very important issue. This is something that people are always talking about. Is physical going to die? Is physical better than digital? Is digital better than physical? And there are really, really, really good arguments for both. And I have a lot to say about it. But before I talk about what I have to say, let's see what you guys have to say. So, I am on my PS4 right now. I got Twitter open on the web browser, and I am looking at the results of my latest Twitter poll. Because, as you guys are aware, I kind of have a tradition going on where every time I post a discussion video, I put a poll up on Twitter, and you guys share your thoughts. Because what you guys think is very important to me. And it also helps get the discussion going. So, the question I asked was, do you still buy physical copies of games? Why or why not? And responses will be featured in my next video, I said. So, 43% said yes, and 57% said no. They do not buy physical copies of games. So, I got a few responses here. Got actually a lot. I didn't even see all of these. But, let's see. We'll just read through the comments and we'll share our thoughts on these reasons that they say as to why they do or do not buy physical game copies. So, Tailgunner says it's much cheaper in Turkey. I guess that means to buy a physical game copy. It's much cheaper to buy a physical game copy than to buy a digital copy, which is very important because in a lot of cases that is the truth. I don't know if that's the case in Turkey or whatever country, if it's based on country where physical copies are much cheaper. But that's also the case a lot of times in the States, especially with console games. Because with console games, I mean, that's pretty much where the physical market still exists. They're pretty stingy on the prices. They don't really permanently lower it. The only time it's lowered is if there's a crazy sale going on. Because there are games that are pretty old. Like GTA 5 is still $60. Yeah, it's still $60. Or it's $50, something like that. It's just like, really? A game that's so fucking old? Or they charge $60 for the game, but they also include shark cards and a few microtransactions to sweeten the deal a little bit. But still, it's just like, seriously? So they're pretty stingy with the prices. So as a console gamer, having the physical market present is really good. Is really good as a consumer because, okay, so with PC gaming, you have Steam, you have GOG Galaxy, you have Origin, you have Uplay, you have all these different services. Steam does not have a monopoly on the prices that you pay for games. And even if it did, like Steam, their prices are really crazy. Like, they got crazy sales going on every summer. They got winter sales too, and they got all these crazy fucking sales, man. So Steam alone is completely worth it. But if you're not happy, you got the Humble Bundle, where you can pretty much pay like fucking pennies for a game, because the proceeds go 100% towards charity. It's not to make profit. So you have so many options on PC that with consoles, the physical market is, I guess, necessary for a lot of people because the prices are more competitive. You don't just have Sony and Microsoft dictating what the price is for one game, or the game developer, because they're the ones that really set the price, right? So, Again, 43% say yes, they buy physical copies, and 57% say no. But let's continue reading. Tommy Travis says, no, I hate going to the store, and digital is instantly available versus ordering a physical copy on Amazon. And I actually agree with that 100%. I couldn't. That's probably the main reason. One of the main reasons. There are three reasons why I don't buy physical copies. Right? I know a lot of people might be surprised by that, but I do not buy physical copies of games. I absolutely do not. There are three reasons why I do not buy physical game copies anymore. What Tommy Travis just said about the convenience factor, I can go on the PlayStation Store, put in my debit card information, and download the game. As opposed to, or on Amazon too, you can order digital codes, and the codes are instantly available. One thing I will add though, so in defense of digital console gaming, one thing I will say, Amazon has been having some crazy sales over the past few months. Digital sales, digital console game sales that you don't see on the PlayStation Store and the Xbox Live Store. So that's something to consider. It's not like, it's completely dominated by Sony and Microsoft. That's a common misconception. It's not entirely true. You can go on Amazon and other digital game stores, and they tend to offer digital games for discounts compared to the PlayStation Store. So it is getting better, but the physical market still gives you more options, is what I'm saying. Okay, so that's one option, the convenience factor. One reason why I do not buy physical games is the convenience factor. Second reason why I do not buy physical games anymore is because I fucking hate GameStop, okay? They treat their customers like shit. They treat their employees like shit. The thing about Blockbuster, I really enjoyed my experience in Blockbuster. I've never had one bad experience going to Blockbuster stores, and yes, I am that old. It might not seem like that, but I am that old. I was around when Blockbuster was a huge thing, and it was bigger than Netflix. Yeah. So, a lot of people might be surprised about that. They think I'm 12 years old. I don't look that young, do I? Shit. But that will help me when I get older, looking younger than my actual age. I'm going to be 40, and I'm going to look like I'm 20, right? That's how it works? No? Oh well, let's continue. So that's the second reason. I fucking hate GameStop. The deals that they have, it's like they give you $5 for games, and then they sell it for like $20 or $25, sometimes $30. You get nothing for your games. So I never sell physical copies to GameStop. Actually, all the physical current gen games that I've sold were to people in real life, with friends and other people. The most recent example I can think of from the top of my head was selling Watch Dogs to my friend back in high school. It was like a year or two ago for $10, which was a pretty good deal for me because I wanted to get rid of it. I've had enough fun with Watch Dogs, so I decided to sell it. That's another advantage of physical, but let me just finish my point here. So those are two reasons why I do not buy physical copies anymore of games, right? So those are two reasons. And the third reason, besides the convenience and hating fucking GameStop, like absolutely despise GameStop, and I won't feel bad when they go out of business. And yes, they will go out of business. They're not going to survive in 10 years, as much as people think they are. And as much as you love physical copies, they're not going to survive. And are you really going to feel bad if they die? Are you really going to feel terrible for GameStop? How shitty they treat their employees, how shitty they treat their customers? That you're going to feel really, really, really bad that GameStop is going to go out of business? I don't think too many people will be. That's just how it is. So the third reason, just so I can finish my point already, because I've been going on for a while, is that I don't want to deal with losing games and having scratches and all this other shit. Oh, actually, there are 4 reasons. 4 reasons. So the fourth reason is because right now, the current state of console gaming, and yes, that is a good point that Rich of VTech USA brought up, is that with the whole putting your disc in play, that's not really a thing anymore. I was actually surprised. So, actually, let me just show you. This is my entire physical library for this generation. 6 games. And here's the kicker. So, Killzone Shadowfall is one of them. And I didn't even know I still own this game. I looked, just for this video, I looked for all the physical copies I had of current-gen games, because I have a lot of PS3 and 360, because back then, digital existed, but there were certain games that were only physical, or, you know, they came out on digital maybe a month or a year after it was originally released. So back then, physical was the dominant form of buying games. Physical was much bigger than digital back then. So that's why I have such a huge physical library of 360 and PS3 games. But not so much current gen, not so much with 8th gen. But here's the crazy thing. Since we were talking about installs, right? I actually put the game in the disc, Killzone Shadowfall, and it was ready to go. Yeah. It had an update file, but the actual game was running and ready. Maybe because it's not as big as the other games, but yeah, it was just ready to go. Interesting. So, that's one game, Killzone Shadowfall. Call of Duty Ghosts for the PS4. This is my first PS4 game that I've ever owned. Not that it holds any sentimental value to me. I'd be glad to get rid of this game. Be totally glad to get rid of this game. Because I haven't played PS4 Call of Duty in a while. I switched over to the Xbox One when I got my Xbox One. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare Day Zero Edition for the PS4. Again, I'd love to get rid of this. I remember I got this. I don't know why. I don't know why I pre-ordered this at GameStop. It's weird. Oh, and guess those are all the PS4 games I own. I also have a physical copy of Battlefield 4. That's the only other physical copy I have of games that I haven't shown here, that I don't have in my hands. And that's because it's in the disc tray right now. That's why I don't have it. So Call of Duty Ghosts for the Xbox One. Yeah, I know people are thinking, what the fuck? You bought this shitty game twice? Well, okay, so the Xbox One, I got my Xbox One, right? And it was, back then, I think it was it still $400? No, it was $350. I got it in May of 2015. That's when I got the Xbox One. And, you know, a lot of the games around weren't too good, and I just shelled $350 on a new system, so I didn't want to really go crazy with spending on new games, like $60 games. This game was $10. And I have played the game before. I've had some fun with it. But I decided to buy this game again because it was cheap. And I do generally prefer playing Call of Duty on the Xbox than I do on the PlayStation. It's just because I'm just an Xbox guy, like with Call of Duty. Same with Battlefield. Like with Battlefield, I cannot play Battlefield on Xbox. I can only play it on PlayStation. Or PC preferably, but I don't have a PC. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare for the Xbox One. I know people are just like, why are you buying the same Call of Duty game twice? This is actually the only time I bought the same game twice, with Ghosts and Advanced Warfare. But I was just like, okay, I barely touched Advanced Warfare on the PS4. I don't know why I didn't, but I decided to get it again on the Xbox One because I knew some people who still played it back then on the Xbox. And Black Ops 3. Physical copy. I don't even remember why I decided to get this game. I think I pre-ordered it too. I did because it had the Nuketown bonus map. That came with the pre-order, I think. This is the last game I pre-ordered for GameStop, obviously, because it's the end of my physical copies. So generally, the reason why I buy physical copies of games, well, I don't actually, but the reason why those specific games were physical copies were either them being gifts to me, because Killzone Shadowfall was a gift. I didn't actually buy it. Someone gave it to me. So I guess with presents, it's like, you know, it's better to hand you something, I guess, than to just buy someone a digital code. But I think people don't really give a fuck about that these days. If a game is still a game. So if I'm at GameStop anyway, typically to buy hardware, Because there's really no other reason why I'd go to GameStop. Certainly not to sell my fucking games. All these games that I plus Battlefield 4, I'd be lucky to get $10 for all of them. GameStop's that fucking bad. So I have no reason to sell them to GameStop. But generally, when I go to GameStop, it's to buy a new console or a new system or something like that. Usually hardware related. I don't go there to buy games. I used to go there a lot to buy PS2 games, but when they stopped selling PS2 games, I didn't have much reason to keep going there. So yeah. So usually if I'm at GameStop, though, for whatever reason, it's usually to buy hardware. I just get a physical game because I'm already there, so I just get it. Why not? I used to be excited getting physical copies of games. Now I just really don't care. I don't think I'll ever buy a physical game again. It's crazy. I didn't even think about how little physical games I buy until I hit the record button on this video. It's insane. We're going to read some more comments, though, before we end this video here. I know we've been going on for 16 minutes already. Shit. But I just thought that a new face video would be cool for you guys, that you guys can see what I look like. I'm not, trying to hide how I look or anything like that. And plus, the new look, I think, looks good. Does it? Yeah. Mike says, it can be cheaper, and I like having physical copies rather than digital because I could sell it or trade with my friends. We've talked about this before. I did it personally, and it's a good thing, but I don't think it's worth enough to actually buy all my games physically over digitally. It's just the convenience just overshadows all of that, in my opinion. And plus, you have digital markets like the Amazon digital market for console games that's on the rise. So you do have more options. Zuru Blackstar, whatever fucking name that is. Yes, I like the collecting and displaying aspect of physical games. Oh yes, collecting. We haven't talked about that yet. People just like, for whatever reason. Okay, this is not with just video games though. This is with vinyl, CDs, and with anything else. People just love having a physical copy with them. They just like it. It's something that they like to do. They like to have a physical collection of games on display. It's just something they like to do. It's something they like to have. It's just collecting is a big hobby for a lot of people. But the reason why physical gaming is still big, because physical gaming still takes up a huge part of the gaming market, believe it or not. I don't remember the exact number, but it's I think it's at least a third. At least a third of the gaming industry, the gaming market, is towards physical games, which is pretty impressive because this is the entire gaming market, PC and console. And there's no physical gaming on PC anymore. And with consoles, more and more people are adopting digital gaming. But here's another reason why discs exist that people don't really talk about that much, or people seem to undermine. Okay, and I think I could bring a good perspective into this because I've experienced both urban life and rural life. So when I was a kid, my parents had a second house. We had a second house upstate, about 4 hours away from my usual house, which is actually here still. Don't know for how long, though, because my whole situation's fucked up, but no one gives a fuck about that, so I'm not going to get into that shit. But, okay. I had plenty of experience in the rural countryside, right? I've been a city boy my whole life. I know how the city life is. I know, having great high-speed internet every day and not having to worry about connection issues is such a great thing. But the thing about that, though, is that half of the population in the United States alone, never mind underdeveloped countries, right? In the United States alone, half of the population is rural. And a lot of the rural population can't really access great internet because, I don't know, I'm sure a lot of people watching this video are just used to the life in the city and don't really know what it's like outside of the city. And it's not really too good. I don't really like the country lifestyle. It's just, all we really did was shoot guns and go hunting and what else? Oh, ride quad bikes. That was fun. And jeeps and Suburbans. That was my first driving experience, actually. That was when I was 16 years old, driving a Suburban from, like, 1990. And, yeah, it was, but my first time driving, I crashed into an apple tree. Yeah. Because our property had an apple tree. We used to pick apples from there every October. It was fun. I miss those days. But anyway, no one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck about your life experience, NoobTube. Nobody gives a fuck. But it's important. It's important. It's related to this video. It is related to this video. There's a reason why I'm saying this. So, internet is really fucking bad. Especially where my house was, the area around that. You're lucky. The best internet was satellite internet. And that's the only internet you were able to access, was satellite internet. And in case you don't know how bad satellite internet is, it's not too good. Like HughesNet and all these other internet networks that are terrible, these satellite networks. Because you know how satellite works. Anyone who's ever had Dish Network like I have. I've had Dish Network before. It was really fucking bad. So if there's a storm, if anything blocks the satellite connection, like clouds or something like that, which is typically what happens if it's rain, like cloud coverage. If there's cloud coverage, your TV connection goes out, your internet connection goes out. So online gaming is not really ideal if you live in that area. Not really. It's not. And I've gone to Walmart before in that area, close to that house that I talked about 20 minutes down the road. Walmart. Even to this day, the last time I was there was 2 years ago. 2 years ago was the last time I was ever there. 2 years ago. So it's not too long ago. It's not like things have drastically changed. So 2 years ago, last time I went to a Walmart, because there's no Walmart anywhere near where I live. The closest Walmart to my city is about 45 minutes away in Long Island. So I don't really know what Walmart is like too much. But when I do go to Walmart, it's typically when I'm upstate, because you got to get groceries and shit and stuff like that. And the last time was 2 years ago that I went to a Walmart, and you'd be surprised. There are aisles and aisles and aisles and aisles of CDs. CDs! I know! CDs! I know people are just losing their fucking mind. Their minds are exploding. CDs in 15 it was, but it's still probably a thing in 2017. The new Jay-Z album has a physical release. A lot of music artists release their content physically because there's a huge thing for physical media. People just like having discs, but the reason why people like having CDs, well, they don't really like having CDs. It's just, well, the thing about rural areas is that it's a lot of old people there. You think they're going to be bothered with downloading and streaming? They don't know what the fuck that is. If you ask them what streaming is, they're going to be like, huh? Because people at a certain age, for some reason, just don't want to be bothered with learning new things and learning new technologies. That's why you don't see too many 60, 70-year-old YouTubers on here too much. You don't really see a lot of them. And that's for a reason, because they can't be bothered with learning new things and learning the internet. My grandfather is 80 years old right now. He's never gone on the internet once. He never wanted to. He never will. He just doesn't care. Oh, no, he's actually 82. Whatever. Still, my point taken. I always hated going to my grandparents' house. I love them to death, and they treated me like their own son. But goddamn, I always hated that I never had access to internet. I never got to play online games. But man, now these days, now that my grandma's gone and shit, I'd just do anything to take me back to those days. But I always wanted to stay away from there because I just couldn't live without an internet connection. I still can't. It's crazy. Also, when you go over there, it's not even 4G connection. Good luck getting basic cell reception. Not even 4G or internet. I don't even get cell reception. So a lot of places in the country, it's pretty bad. People are talking about streaming being the future. Streaming being the future? Downloads aren't even the future yet. I mean, they're the present, but not everyone is doing downloads. People can't do it. Their internet is really fucking bad. And this is the United States alone. Never mind all these other countries that are underdeveloped and don't have great internet speeds. We're going to read a few more because I want to try to include as much perspective as I can. If I already talked about it, I'll just skip it so we don't take up too much time. Mr. Fatal says, I own a small collection of physical copies of games and I don't intend on stopping. Again, he's into collecting. Metal F50 says, I still do buy physical copies even though on PC once you activate the code you pretty much don't need the disc anymore. Yeah, good point. Dank Memes, very original name. Digital is so much more convenient. You just click play. You don't have to find the disc. You don't have to hope your disc tray doesn't break. Yeah, I talked about that before. It's a big plus for digital. You don't have to worry about disc breaking and losing your discs or whatever. I know some people would be like, well, you got to be responsible. You can't lose your disc. If you lose your disc, you're an idiot. Well, people just don't want to be fucking bothered with having to worry about that. Can you blame them and getting disc scratched? Black Ops 3, that game that I showed. I put the disc in, and even though the games just download these days, they don't even just work. They just download. It's like, it doesn't work because the disc is fucked up somehow. So even though it recognizes that it's Black Ops 3, and it just downloads the game anyway, it's not even like the game isn't a disc because it's not these days. It won't let me play the game. It won't let me download the game. I download the game. I'm in the process of downloading, and it's like, oh, we can't verify the license or some shit. It's just fucking dumb. Makes no sense. So that's another reason. Reason number 5 why I don't buy physical games is because it just makes no fucking sense to in 2017. Putin Baby says no because I play on PC. Again, no physical market on PC. Quark Fury says, I am now mainly a PC gamer, so Steam. I've had some laser scratch and misplaced disc. Yeah. Wheelers 13, digital games are cheaper and a lot more convenient. Link Todd, only if I consider it highly collectible. I do still get physical for console, but I haven't gotten a new console game in a while. Rokon, out of habit, I buy physical copies of console games and digital for PC. I may go digital for consoles, too, for preservation purposes. Preservation's another thing. It's really hard to preserve physical discs or physical media, especially rare games that aren't in high supply. But if you release it digitally, companies don't have to worry about supply and having enough supply and meeting the demands and all that other crap that you have to deal with physical products. So digital is a good thing for them. Wonk says convenience is key, especially on Switch. It's much easier to have downloaded titles than that you can switch back and forth from on the fly. Rayhan Akram, sorry if I mispronounced your name. Rayhan Akram, it's much more convenient to choose from a virtual library at your fingertips. Yeah. Mr. Waffles, I buy them from friends who don't want their games anymore. I buy new games digital. Reptile, I don't have a disk drive in my PC. Yeah, what you gonna do about that? Zidakta, did I say that name right? Zidakta, I don't buy physical copies of games anymore because there are no game stores near where I live. That's interesting. So yeah, if there's no GameStop near you, why the hell are you gonna go to a physical game store out of your way if you can just get it digitally? Yeah, makes total sense. There's only 2 more replies, so don't get too bored. Nip holes. Oh, very funny. I just got that. It's more of a hassle to go out and get a game, plus having to keep the cases of them somewhere. I addressed that point a lot in this video. And Dirty Dolan, this is the last comment. Dirty Dolan says, Steam exists. I used to go for Xbox because I like to collect things, but physical copies of most PC games is impractical. So that's what people seem to think. They don't really value physical media as much. The only people who really do are people who are really die-hard collectors, or for some reason they just think that physical is better than digital because they have more options with prices and whatnot. So what are my overall thoughts before I close the video? Because I mean, I have made it kind of clear, but not really. So I do think that digital is ultimately a better medium than physical. I think that the convenience is there. I think that it's it's just better. I mean, I just think it's better to just get a game digitally, going to the store, PlayStation Store or Amazon, whatever the hell you want to do, and just get it on there. You don't have to worry about having to, go out to the store and get the game. It's just so much easier. Plus all the other reasons I've said in this video about why digital is better. Now, when do I think physical is going to die? That's a good question. That's something that I think I need to at least tap into before I end the video. When do I think physical gaming is going to die, if at all? I do think that it's going to die in the sense that there are going to be consoles. I don't know if it's going to be 9th gen, but I can bet that 10th gen at least is going to not have any disc drives. Because, I mean, look, like, people still do buy discs. It's pretty popular. It's not like nobody buys discs anymore. So if they just go out and be like, yeah, PlayStation 5 and Xbox whatever the fuck is going to have no disc drive at all. I know the new Atari system that's in the works. You look at the model and has no physical media, and it's apparently supposed to run modern games. It's not just supposed to be a throwback console. So that's interesting. But yeah, but I think it would be interesting to see though. That's really how you know physical versus digital if you actually put it to the test. If you have a console that can only run games digitally, has no disc drives or nothing like that, and then you run it against a console that has the option available, just try to see how much more sales the game really has on physical versus digital. So for the new Call of Duty game, if there's significant higher sales numbers on physical games, then it'll show you that physical is still a thing and that it's not going to go anywhere for at least a few years. I think in the next 5 years, though, GameStop's going to be dead. Essentially, it's going to be the new Blockbuster in the sense that people just going to have no reason to go there besides buying consoles, but you can just go to Best Buy to buy consoles and other shit. It's just not worth it unless you're, part of that niche retro gaming collection market, So physical gaming isn't really worth a lot to a lot of people. And some people think it's bad that we're going towards digital, but people really value convenience. People really value convenience. Remember that, because that's a very important thing to know in understanding the gaming industry, is that the consumer, and this is not just for gaming, this is for everything, but it's really important to understand for any industry that people really value convenience over anything else, for the most part. If, physical does have a lot of advantages over digital, and we have gone over them in length. The video's been over a half hour long. That's what happens, though, when you're on camera and you don't edit videos and do all that other stuff. Because I'd probably be able to trim it down from, 33 to, 20. Maybe, I don't know. But, I don't know, I just thought that having a face video would be cool. Would be a cool breath of fresh air than just having bootleg Overwatch gameplay all the time. And that's funny. As soon as I say that, I just get a new notification on Twitter. Do you have Overwatch? Yeah, I actually do, but I don't play at the moment because my Xbox Live Gold expired. Paid online does fucking suck, does it? Really does. But despite all the advantages that physical might have with having more options to buy and sell, just having a physical copy of the game, whatever advantages that there are, because there are advantages that physical does have over digital, but there are a lot of advantages that digital has over physical, and the main one is convenience. It's much more convenient to just not have to go out to GameStop, especially if you don't even live near one. I know some people like the social experience of going to a GameStop and dealing with your friendly GameStop employee, but all they do is try to force you to buying bullshit, so why do I want to go to GameStop again? I don't know. But I do think that digital will eventually overtake physical. We've seen it in the movie industry with Blockbuster versus Netflix. We've seen it in the music industry with CDs and streaming, because yes, CDs are still alive, but they're basically on life support at this point. I mean, at least compared to streaming. It's just the numbers aren't comparable. You look at YouTube plays, that's streaming. That's music streaming. You see all these music videos with 1 billion, 2 billion views. There's not a single song that has had 2 billion listens on a CD. So, again, the physical media in general, not just in gaming, is dying. Because the internet connections are only getting better, they're not getting worse. There's still parts of the country, never mind parts of the world, that need to play catch-up. So, physical will exist for a time being, but I do think 2 generations from now, when we're talking about the PlayStation 6, I think that, E3 2025 or whatever, E3 2026, whenever they're going to reveal the PlayStation 6, that I know I'm looking way too far ahead, but there's a point I'm trying to make. I'm pretty sure they will not have a disc drive. I'm much more confident in that than the PS5 having no disc drive, because I don't think... Even the Xbox One, I had so much fucking DRM, included a disc drive in it. Or originally was supposed to have DRM. So, I don't know. I can't really make a complete estimate on when physical will completely be overtaken by digital, but I will predict that within the next 5 years, GameStop will be out of business because their stock has dropped over 50% in the past 5 years, which is really fucking bad. And I do think that within the next 10 years, or let's say 7 years, or 8 years, we'll go with 7, within the next 7 years, physical gaming will be almost completely extinct. That's what I think is going to happen. Unless you're talking about retro, past generation titles. But even that, you're having digital releases. Like you have San Andreas from the PS2 on the PS4 now. So, they might just be like releasing all their games digitally, all the old games. And who knows? Who knows? So those are my thoughts on digital versus physical. I'm sorry. The video might have been too long for you guys, but I thought it was important enough to just go over everything and to get... to read all the responses, because there were a lot of them, and I want to get all of them in. Might not be able to do that one day as my channel grows, but I'll try to do as much as I can, because your opinions are very important to me. I like that you guys are part of the video. You guys are part of the discussion. It's not like I'm just some lonely dude in his basement just talking to nothing and talking to nobody. He's actually talking to people, in a way. Yeah. That's not fucking sad, right? Nah, I obviously was joking. Obviously. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I know the video was too long for some people, but to anyone who's watched, thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you guys later.